Welcome back to the Million in 5 podcast. This edition focuses on the struggles of marginalized groups. I am your host, Valerie. In this insightful episode, we spotlight Nick Ransom's pioneering efforts to champion neurodiversity within sports. Exploring his push to celebrate the unique perspectives of neurodivergent athletes, we delve into the broader implications of embracing diversity of thought in all sectors. Through Nick's story, we uncover the challenges of systemic barriers and the rich, untapped potential that neurodiversity brings to creativity and strategic thinking. Let's dive in. In a recent article by Laura, a sports journalist, she highlights the journey of Nick Ransom, a journalist and neurodiversity consultant who is leading the charge to put stories celebrating neurodiversity on the agenda in the sports media. Neurodiversity refers to the idea that everyone has a different way of thinking, and it includes individuals who are autistic, dyslexic, dyspraxic, or have ADHD, asthma, or Tourette's. Nick Ransom, who is autistic himself, is on a mission to tell the stories of neurodivergent athletes and provide representation in the sports media. He believes that diversity of thought is often ignored in sports coverage, and that neurodiversity has a massive part to play in creativity, tactics, and overall success in sports. However, coverage of neurodivergent stories in the sports media remains patchy, and the nuances important to doing justice to the representation of these stories are often overlooked. Nick feels like he's one of the few sports broadcasters or reporters talking about neurodiversity on air, and he wants to change that. This story highlights the broader trend of equity, diversity, and inclusion in the workplace. It's not just about gender or racial diversity, but also about embracing and celebrating the unique perspectives and abilities of individuals with neurodivergent conditions. By including more positive perspectives of neurodivergent athletes, we can create empowering role models and break down the stigma surrounding neurodiversity. Nick Ransom is not only advocating for better representation in the media, but is also working as a consultant to advise employers on creating more inclusive workplaces. He believes that employers should be flexible in their hiring processes and adopt reasonable adjustments in the office to accommodate the needs of neurodivergent individuals. By doing so, they can tap into new skill sets and experiences that neurodivergent employees can bring to the table. The frustration faced by individuals like Nick Ransom is a reflection of the systemic barriers that exist in our society. Often, those who have not experienced marginalization or discrimination fail to recognize the importance of equality, diversity, and inclusion. But the impact of not seeing oneself reflected in the media or feeling marginalized can be detrimental to an individual's self-esteem and sense of belonging in society. However, there is hope for change. As more athletes and individuals feel comfortable talking about their neurodivergent experiences, and as media coverage increases, we can start to break down the stigma and create a more inclusive world. It's not just about overcoming barriers, but also about highlighting the strengths and contributions that neurodivergent individuals can bring to sports, society, and employment. Nick Ransom's work and advocacy are inspiring examples of how one person can make a difference and push for a more inclusive world. By amplifying these stories and supporting individuals like Nick, we can continue to advocate for equity, diversity, and inclusion in all aspects of life. That's all for this episode of Million in 5. Join us next time as we explore more stories of resilience, empowerment, and success. Remember, change starts with us, and together, we can create a better world.